money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to our first edition of UBC News tonight on this last day of July 2022. Now, before we get into tonight's newscast, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. And in our headlines tonight, heavy rains destabilize Bugisu sub-region, generate floods and landslides. Kabaka Mutebi celebrates 29 years on the throne. An accident in Masindi claims 2 workers of Kakira Sugar Limited. And Nabanja Lords UPDF Engineering Brigade. Good evening once again and welcome to a first edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto. Now we start off with tonight's news bulletin. President Yoweri Museveni, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda People's Defence Forces, early this week commissioned 102 Special Forces Command Officers housing units at Kambarage Nyerere Quarters at Lunyo in Entebbe Municipality. Now the housing units were constructed by the SFC Engineering Unit. Take a look.
Each housing unit, commissioned by General Yoweri Museveni, has 3 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen and store, and cost government of Uganda shilling 71 million. According to President Museveni, it wouldn't have been possible to defend the country with no or little pay for the UPDF until now that the NRM government has got money to enhance their salaries to a tune of over 1 million shillings.
Otherwise, we would not have been able to defend Uganda if we had to say houses first. Houses first, salaries first. You would do. There was no money. So that's what we did. And I want to thank all the officers and all the NCOs and all the militants of NRA, of UPDF, of FRONASA for accepting that strategy of Kamwe Kamu Muganda.
General Museveni said the reason why former African armies failed to defend themselves is because they prioritized salaries and good life.
Now, if that time we had said we must pay ourselves, because that's what the problem of Amin's army and these African armies. If they had, because when we fought with Idi Amin had an army of 20,000. We came with an army of 54,000 from Tanzania. He couldn't fight us because he had made the mistake of paying high salaries to soldiers. Each one had a car, private car. They started with building barracks. They had no weapons.
The president was happy about the decision of the SFC Engineering Unit to use direct labor, which is cheap, while undertaking construction of the housing units.
Save on our operations and put the money on the housing, but use labor, direct labor.
He urged the SFC construction unit to continue with the good work.
These Chinese companies you see here, Railway 18, I don't know what, these were former government companies and army companies. So continue, don't waste time with now private, what, no. Let's look for money for materials. The 60 billion we get, if 100 billion, when we get it, it should all be to buy materials, and we'll do the building ourselves.
Constructing these houses using our own engineers gives us a lot of advantages. First of all, we save a lot of money.
To the Chief of Defence Forces, General Wilson Mbasumbadi, this is as a result of the 2008 needs assessment carried out by the Ministry of Defence and Veteran Affairs, adding that the housing units will spur togetherness in the army, among other benefits.
Because most of the soldiers lived in the famous Mama Ingia Pole, while others opted to rent in very cheap slums, which not only compromised command and control, but also made these soldiers very vulnerable as far as their security is concerned. Apart from the advantage of command and control, soldiers staying together also improves esprit de corps, the sense of belongingness, but it also helps them benefit from the common user facilities that we always find in the barracks.
The Commander, Special Forces Command, Brigadier General Felix Busizori, briefed President Museveni on how far the unit has gone in as far as improving accommodation for the soldiers.
So when we completed the construction of these houses, we started on the construction of 80 housing units in Chigungu, in Makajo and Rehengere, and right now they are at roofing stage. So we are also about to complete the health center 3 in Rinyo Barracks here, in addition to the health centers that we have, and it can admit 20 people.
He added that installation of a brick making machine is complete to reduce on the construction costs.
We have finalized the installation of a block making machine, and it has started the production. And this will significantly reduce the cost of construction. Your Excellency, sir, the machine can make 500 blocks per hour, and it's able to do hollow blocks, solid blocks, and pavers. Your Excellency, sir, we do all this using our own labor.
For years since its formation, the Uganda People's Defence Forces UPDF has improvised for its soldiers who have prioritized the country's peace and security against their own welfare. Despite the poor remuneration, the UPDF remains one of the most popular institutions, attracting professionals in their ranks, mainly because of its professional training and discipline. Bernard Yiga, UBC News.
UBC News. Now, a heavy downpour that started at around 10 p.m. has claimed lives of unidentified number of people within the Mbale city and its suburbs. Now, the affected areas include Namabasa, Nabuyonga Ward, Doko, Wungoho, among others, where unidentified residents are said to have drowned in the running water, also destroying property worth millions.
Ingende wayo parabuto ainjile moja akompleni vitu
obula amazi yakoze ebindi abantu wano.
Very devastating happening in that region. Now, moving on, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robinah Nabbanja, has commended the engineering brigade of the Uganda People's Defence Forces for establishing government projects at relatively subsidized cost. Now, Nabbanja says the progress made at the new Mune Primary School in Nakasongola district will relieve school-going pupils whose previous school was swept away by floods. She was in Nakasongola district to monitor ongoing government projects including Rampanga Health Center 3 and Bulwande Jira Swamp crossing River Seziwa. We have the details in this report.
This was Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja's last point of project inspection at Bulwande Jira Swamp crossing on River Seziwa in Nakasongola district. It is a project that people have high hopes in, going by the fact that it will ease movement and trade between Kayunga and Nakasongola districts.
Twali tuyitira eri side ze Kabimbiri Kasawo uyo Zirowe nekati wano tusala busazi nga tutuse wano Bururi.
The project is said to have been delayed due to some factors as admitted by both the contractor and the inspector of works.
I said one of them was weather issues, a few design changes at the beginning, yes, but it should be able to complete now.
There were some design reviews, and also when we put fill in the river section, we have to give room for it to settle.
Disappointed, the Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja gave an ultimatum of 2 months to have the project completed.
Era Minister ya Works ngumikiriza nnyo. Singa abadde nga mwakolera Prime Minister singa nabakyamuula dda. Era tusaba ko gundi Omega tukimanyi oli mwana wa wano naye bwe bakuwa emirimu kyetaaga n'okulumale bakuwa emirala. Naye nobeera kalimu kano okuva 2019 2021 kati oli mu 20 ogenda mu 23.
There may have not been progress here, but the Prime Minister observed improvement at the construction of Rwampanga Health Center 3. It is a project born out of increased water levels that saw the health center swallowed by water. Outpatient department, maternity wards, and staff quarters are all under construction.
Ngaba mumanyi nti NRM government eya Muzeeyi Museveni yo eriwo kukola bintu obuweereza kumpi naki n'abantu. Era yensonga lwaki president yalagira amazzi gabagobyeri kakati katubazze wano.
We started here in Feb, but now the period was to be 6 months to finish these works. The progress now stands at 65.
You've given us a lot of assignments as the ministry. We are actually scattered all over Uganda right now, doing health centers and also working on primary schools.
It is dissimilar progress that she observed at Moni Primary School. Still another project contracted to the UPDF Engineering Brigade.
Ate bagenda okusimba emiti wano, ate babakolere okulongoosa compound bulungi. Ate basimbe n'omuddo, awo baloke bakole ki? Ffe batukwase ekintu naffe tukole ki? Tubakwase.
Nabbanja lauded the brigade for saving government expenditure on construction projects.
The Army Brigade is known for completing works in time. So for us, the reason why we usually advocate for Army Brigade is for you to give us our work in 2 months.
Both the Rwampanga Health Center 3 and the Moni Primary School projects are expected to be complete by the end of this year, 2022. Henry Okrut, UBC, Nakasongola.
Thank you, Henry Okrut. Now, the comprehensive story on the Mbale floods will be in our 10 o'clock bulletin. We'll give you more details in that bulletin. Now, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has revealed plans to introduce what has been codenamed True Love Waits cards in schools with the aim of helping avoid premarital sex. She was addressing students of Mengo Senior School during a youth summit that aimed at imparting students with life skills and how to keep pure. Janet Museveni encouraged the young people to learn to write down ideas and what they purpose to be.
About 6,000 students at Mengo Senior School have acquired skills about sexuality, living a life of purpose and decision-making during a youth summit spearheaded by the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, under the campaign Protect the Girl, Save the Nation. The summit comes at a time when many young people are struggling to keep on track with studies, hence empowering them with life skills to be able to make informed decisions.
And we should not give the devil a chance to disorganize us with sexual impurity, but we are going to find out what we're supposed to do. Do the right thing, do good, follow the code of values that have been instilled in us.
Virginity, I believe you are pure, you are confident, and you respect yourself. You can only attract what you honor. A friend of mine always tells me, if you want to be respected, you have to respect yourself first. You have to respect your body.
The young people have been advised to make right choices that will transform them into responsible citizens. Accordingly, some of the choices that block them from achieving their goals are as a result of disobeying their parents and teachers.
To write down your ideas and what you would want to see happen in your lives as you grow. I urge you to set your life goals now. You may begin by thinking about your future career. Find what you must do, go be right, work hard, be disciplined, so that nothing distracts you from accomplishing your goal.
On sexual discipline, Mrs. Museveni said it is possible to achieve once the young people set a purpose in life. She revealed plans of introducing what she called True Love Waits cards in schools to avoid premarital sex.
And once that we are going to stay from premarital sex until marriage. So we are going to bring those cards back. We want you to sign those cards. You keep your card with you in your Bible so that you don't lose it. You give the other card to your parents to keep and continue to remind you, and the third card will hand over to the president.
The UNICEF representative, Dr. Munir Safieldin, said more than 34% of all young people between 18 to 24 years experience multidimensional poverty, emphasizing that time is now for leaders to invest in the young people.
You are a unique resource that can develop innovative solutions for peace and development, because youth have extremely strong values of tolerance and social cohesion. They aspire to a life of dignity for all. They are committed to peace. They are champions for development and change in communities and societies.
The third Deputy Prime Minister, Rukia Nakadama, said inspiring and empowering youth saves and builds stronger generations. I'm Nafka Farida in Mengo.
Now, the Kabaka of Uganda, Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II, has advised government to assist coffee farmers in fertilizers tax reduction to enable them benefit from the coffee crop. Now, the Kabaka was speaking during his 29th coronation as the King of Uganda at Mengo Palace.
Uganda has celebrated the 29th year of Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II coronation since he was enthroned on 31st July 1993 at Nagalabi-Wuddo. Kabaka Njagala Road was full of anxious people waiting to glance at their leader as he entered at the palace. He arrived at midday to ululations by a mammoth gathering that had been waiting for him since early morning. The Kabaka played the drum, culturally known as Mujaguzo. The Kabaka advised government to control coffee prices and ensure there are no fluctuation that often result into losses.
Binatusobozesa okuganyulwa mu mmwanyi kwe kukuuma omutindo okuviira ddala mu kuzisimba, okuzinoga n'okuzitunda. Kino kijja kutuukibwako singa wabeerawo enkola ey'okuyamba abalimi okufuna endokwa ennungi, okufuna ebijimusa n'eddagala ku bbeeyi ensaamusaamu.
The Kabaka also disclosed that government should consult all coffee stakeholders before implementing a law regulating coffee production.
Tukkiriza nti emmwanyi ejja kuba erimu ku kkubo ery'okuggya abantu baffe mu bwavu. Tetuva tusaba gavumenti okuteekawo embeera esobozesa bonna abeenyigidde mu mulimu gw'emmwanyi omuli abalimi, abasuubuzi, abasunsuzi ne bannaffe abazitwala emitalo w'amayanja okwenyumiriza n'okuganyulwa mu kirime eky'emmwanyi.
The Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, applauded the Kabaka for his efforts in the fight against AIDS.
This year's anniversary's theme is the eradication of the HIV virus, with particular emphasis on the 136 islands within Lake Narubare, otherwise called Victoria, a large part of which is a component of the Kingdom of Buganda. The Kabaka was named the Goodwill Ambassador in the fight against HIV/AIDS by the UNAIDS agency in 2017.
The State Minister for ICT, Joyce Nabosa, appreciated President Museveni for returning the cultural institutions and congratulated Kabaka for making 29th coronation.
Era twalinga buseera nga tulinda ddoboozi lya President agamba ki atukkiriza oba nedda okutuusa bwe yatukkiriza n'agamba nti mugende mu maaso mutikire Kabaka wammwe. Kale n'olwekyo tumwebaza nnyo President, yeebale nnyo, yeebalire ddala kubanga Obote ye yatugirawo obwakabaka bwaffe be twali twagala ennyo. Naye President Museveni bw'ajja n'agamba nti mutikire Kabaka wammwe ne tuba nka kakati myaka 29 bweddu Ssaabasajja Kabaka akyali ku Namulondo y'abajjajjaabe atudde alamula. Tukyebaza nnyo nnyo nnyo.
After the Kabaka served his subjects a whole bowl. In attendance were the first Vukiro of Busoga, ministers from Obukam of Toro, and Bunyoro members of parliament, among others. Shaidat Nasaku, Andrew Sebera, UBC News.
Now, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, His Grace Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, has asked parents to groom the boy child as it is with the girl child. Kazimba, who was on a pastoral inspection of Mengo Archdeaconry, said grooming the boy child, like it is with the girls, will aid elimination of violence in families, among other vices. We have the details in this report.
Happiness was all over Mengo Archdeaconry as the congregation welcomed the Archbishop Church of Uganda, His Grace Dr. Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, on his tour and inspection of God's works in the Archdeaconry. Kazimba, who was accompanied by the Bishop of Namirembe, Wilberforce Chitoluwalira, Venerable Bikebu Wembo from Nateta, among others, was welcomed by Mengo Archdeacon Venerable Canon Isaac Amembe Chijambu.
Nza okulimu okwaniriza kade waffe Saabalabizi w'ekkanisa ya Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Samuel Kazimba Mugalu.
In his sermon, Kazimba condemned the growing habit among men and boys of not working only to wait to get married to rich women.
I'm really concerned about the boys these days who are turning into men and they are looking for marriage. Whenever they are asked what kind of woman you would like to have, these are the answers. I'd like a woman who will take care of me. A woman who will be able to buy underwear for me. Really? Are you a man? We should be men.
Kazimba also cautioned the parents and guardians to equally consider proper bringing up of the boy child, just the way it is with the girls, as this could prevent moral decay that leads to violence in families.
To emphasize the issue of giving equal rights with the boys and the girls. Definitely, girls are very vulnerable and precious. We need to protect them. But experience has shown unless the boys are well groomed and empowered and sensitized to know the value of a woman, these are our mothers, these are our sisters, then domestic violence will not stop. The girl child has been elevated, which is very important because these are mothers, but the boys are left behind.
The Bishop of Namirembe Cathedral, Wilberforce Chitoluwalira, hailed Dr. Kazimba for his positive endeavors towards Church of Uganda.
Tuuse kaakano sebo olw'obuweereza bw'onokukolako nga tulina Family TV. Mukama waffe yeebazibwe. Era olugendo olutambuddwako ku bbanja lya Church House luzaamu amaanyi.
Luwalira, however, was sorry for the trials and challenges Dr. Kazimba has met since he assumed the office.
Egibaddewo ekkanisa nga bagikaazakaaza mu mbuga z'amateeka ate okusingira ddala nga taata gw'osookayo. Ebimu bya ttaka, birala bya makanisa, ate oluusi kulonda mu bulabirizi.
The function was also attended by the State Minister for Finance, Planning and Development, Amos Lugolobi, the Mayor Machindi Ali Mulyanyama, among other delegates, and there was fundraising for the completion works of the church. Archbishop Kazimba proceeded with his visit to Entebbe Archdeaconry. I'm Ivan Juko, reporting for UBC News.
The president of Baptist Union Uganda, Abel Sejirinya, has urged the Baptist clergy to preach the gospel of peace and hope to the people of Karamoja amidst famine-hit communities. Reverend Sejirinya said this during the installation of the Baptist Regional Council of 10 members that was held at Soroti Baptist Ground.
The president of Baptist Union Uganda, Abel Sejirinya, says unity is paramount in all Baptist churches in Uganda. He was officiating the installation of the Baptist Regional Council of 10 members at Soroti Baptist Ground. He congratulated the members of Regional Council who were installed.
With their life. In these places where they are stricken with poverty. Go to Karamoja, where people are dying of hunger just because of drought. To those people so that they can have hope in God. It's very easy for disparate people to just not think about God. Speak to them.
Sam Eibu Okrol was installed as the overseer of Baptist Church Soroti. He was installed with the other 9 members of the Regional Council.
If I don't have peace, I'll be able to give you peace. All of us should have peace to do the work of God. So we want to work with the Baptist fraternity, but we also want to work with every other Christian so that we can build a kingdom of God together. Also bringing those that have not known the Lord to the Lord.
Okror, the regional overseer of Soroti Baptist Church, says Soroti is one of the largest regions, including Karamoja.
Accepting to serve the Lord. Now, these positions into which you've been elected, they are not positions for you to feel that maybe you are somewhere up, but they are positions for you to serve the Lord.
However, Okror says Baptist Church is ready to work with other different churches. This is the second term Sam Eibu Okror is elected and installed as the overseer of Baptist Church Soroti.
Never serve the Lord. Let us work together. Let us ask the Lord to lead us. Let us love one another. I choose to seek guidance from the Lord. I also choose to trust the Lord. I choose to obey the Lord.
Among the members of the regional council include the 5 executive members, Reverend John Ebulu, Reverend Simon Okuni, Reverend Orone, and Dr. Moses Otim. The interest groups of leaders include Anna Edatu Orone, women's leader, Peter Lungat, Sunday school teacher, Pastor Osolo Thomas, men's leader, Pastor Moses Etau, male youth, Betty Kote, female youth.
Remember, it's an assignment and it has a time period. If elections come and people say you have to go, don't stick there. Go out. Let them see another person they think. Next time they will put you in.
The chairperson Electoral Commission Soroti Baptist Church, Ben Andrew Rico, says the church changed the constitution whereby the title of the bishop has been changed to region overseer. Rico notes that some other religions misuse the name bishop.
Now, 2 workers of Kinyara Sugar Limited have died on spot in a nasty accident which occurred along Masindi Biso Road. Simon Ayebale and Paul Vagologoza, 35, were reportedly knocked by a speeding truck.
A truck belonging to China Railway Construction Masinde Biso Road has killed 2 workers of Kinyara Sugar Limited. Alan Julius Hakiza, the Albertine Region Police spokesperson, confirmed the death of Simon Ayebali, 32, and Paul Bagologoza, 35, and attributed the accident to overspeeding.
It had a head-on collision with a motorcycle, which was believed to have been moving from Masindi side to heading to Kinyara, and both rider and the passengers died on the spot. So we managed to visit the scene. Our team of traffic managed to visit the scene, and the 2 bodies were evacuated to Masindi Hospital mortuary. In most of these accidents that always occur around, they are attributed to reckless driving.
Caroline Amongen, the Kinyara Corporate Communications Manager, confirmed that they had lost their 2 staff members, adding that Ayebale was working as a clinical officer at Kinyara Health Center 3, while Bagologoza was an outgrow extension worker at the company.
This side of the road was closed. This one was working. Now they were cleaning this road and it was generating a lot of dust. Those of Simon who had parked here because they had also stopped them. They wanted the vehicle to go. The other man found his way, and these people were parked here stationary. Because of too much dust, they did not see him, and he knocked them. And that's how the accident happened.
It's unfortunate that the 2 employees died on spot at the scene of the accident. We commiserate with the bereaved families and the entire Kinyara family. Necessary arrangements have been made for the bodies to be transported to their respective places for burial. We want to extend our appreciation to the police and our security team that rushed to the scene of the accident to offer assistance.
3 weeks ago, the same road claimed for lives of students from Nabieya Forestry College on claims of improper road caution, dispute of heavy trucks along.
Yeah. Very sad news indeed. And UBC News Tonight continues with, in the late 1980s, governments in sub-Saharan Africa undertook various structural reforms, both politically and socio-economically. Uganda was no exception in the sense that the country was vying for democratization as well as sustainable development. One of the pillars for this policy reform was decentralization, which has been considered essential in creating a collaborative mechanism between the state and the people who had endured and needed recovery from a prolonged internal civil strife. In today's episode of Commander-in-Chief, we relay to you what transpired 30 years at Nile International Conference Center when the then President of the Republic of Uganda, sensitized the local council leaders on the advantages of decentralization.
Welcome to Commander-in-Chief Files, and in this episode of CNC Files, we bring you what the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Lieutenant General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and Chairman National Resistance Movement said when he addressed RC5, RC3 and RC2 executives at Uganda International Conference Center in 1992. The President emphasized on the advantages of decentralization as opposed to the centralization system of governance, which had become non-effective.
First, decentralization will give power to the people to move steadily on the path of democratization. Second, decentralization will meet our goal to attain an equitable distribution of resources between and within districts, thereby spreading the benefits of economic growth and development to districts or groups traditionally disadvantaged. Third, we have committed ourselves to improving public sector performance and to eventually reduce public sector spending. This will be achieved by eliminating expenses caused by excessive decentralization of decision-making in Kampala, by increasing the generation of local authorities' revenue through improved local tax collection, and by making political leaders and employees of local authorities more responsible in the expenditure of public resources.
Decentralization meant that some power which belonged to the central government had to be given out to smaller units around the country in order to smoothen local administration governance. 5 years later, Uganda introduced the decentralization policy in 1997 under the Local Government Act of 1997. The policy inherently decentralized service delivery institutions and their governance in order to improve access of services for the rural poor. Its focus was on education, health, and agriculture, as well as management of national resources in Uganda.
All right. Well, the Senior Presidential Advisor, Resident District Commissioner Secretariat, Lieutenant Colonel Ambako Kibrai, has cautioned the resident district commissioners, resident city commissioners and their deputies against abuse of office and being ideologically bankrupt. Addressing the commissioners during their ongoing orientation retreat at the National Leadership Institute, Changwanzi, Lieutenant Colonel Kibrai said if one is sectarian or tribalistic, it is a sign that they are ideologically bankrupt. He also tasked the commissioners to desist from abuse of office because it undermines the image of the office of the president.
Either
getting me? Yes, sir. Then inadequate interpersonal and public relations within the office and in the district. These are the proposed way forward. Development of all-inclusive operational plan to guide the field structure on what to do, how to do it, when to do it, to ensure delivery of services, to achieve promises and commitments made by HE, the President, which is documented in the Manifesto 2021-2026. You are required to have total commitment to the assignment given to you by His Excellency. And want to deliver to the expectation of His Excellency the President. Are you getting me? Any failure by any one of you without exploitation of available opportunities and without explanation that can be forgiven may not be tolerated, because all of you are capable and can deliver.
Thank you.
The Executive Director, Save for Health Uganda, Frederick Makaire, has asked Ugandans to join community health insurance schemes as a means of improving the quality of their health. Frederick Makaire was closing the Munombulwade Union Schemes Organization annual general meeting at Kalongemiti village in Luwero district, at which he has been chief guest.
The cheapest product is 13,500 and the highest product is 50,000. So members are free to choose. Every household chooses which one to take on. So it has been resolved that those 6 products will be carried on for the next second financial year. Secondly, for portability of benefits. So a member in Luwero under this scheme, next year when they fall sick from Masaka or Bushenyi or Iganga, their card which they will receive will be able to support them to get treatment from the other side.
Community members, most of them lost their jobs as a result of lockdown. We are working with some people who are farmers, others are transporters, others work in saloons, others have business organizations. So during that year, in 2020, when the lockdown set in, many people were not working, so they stayed at home for so long, most of them used up their capital. So in 2021, when we came, some of these conditions were definitely not friendly to the healthcare service users. For example, we introduced new co-payments, we also limited the benefits, and so it became also a challenge at the end of the year when we went back to ask them to pay premiums. Again, most of them were telling us they were not happy with the previous year, so they dropped out.
People are accessing medication at a relatively low price, or in a place, or in a time of scarcity. Because you see, as village members, in villages we don't have money all the time. So once you have that insurance, even if you have no coin in your pocket,
All right, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with much more stories.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Children are a special gift, one we must protect and nurture with care. Ensuring your child has a birth certificate opens doors for them that would otherwise be hard to access, such as immunization, school admission, or simply proving their age and belonging. Let us do our duty as parents and guardians by registering our children and getting them birth certificates. For more information, visit the NERA office closest to you or call the toll-free number 0800-211-700. This message is brought to you by NERA.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You say I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just say the register.
What's going on here? He sells things from the shop, and behind my back, he gets the money and gives it to his girlfriends.
But just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet, and only you, the owner, have access to it. Just dial *185 *10 # and now you are on. No waiting. Huh? This insanity is sweet. Give them also.
I only take Airtel Money Pay. It's easy and secure.
Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
No mixing your business money with your Kameza money. Now, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
National Council for Higher Education will hold the 4th Annual Higher Education Conference on the 14th and 15th September 2022. The conference theme is Enhancement of Teaching, Learning and Assessment with Ordeal in Higher Education. The guest of honor will be the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni. The conference will be held physically at Hotel Africana for only invited guests and open to online participants via Zoom webinar that will be shared under the events section at www.unche.or.ug. The keynote speakers are Ezra Nazim, Senior Fellow of Higher Education Academy UK, Professor Henk Gerald Soler, a Dutch organizational theorist and Emeritus Professor of Business, Engineering and ICT at Groningen University, the Netherlands. The National Council for Higher Education is receiving papers from researchers and scholars for publication in the Uganda Higher Education Review, Journal of National Council for Higher Education. For more details, send inquiries to cmuhumuza@unche.or.ug, info@unche.or.ug, or call 0783 04 0024 or 0704 80 0926 plus 256 39 32 62 140/4.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. The Innovation Village, in partnership with the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers and ICT Association of Uganda, have launched a new education program, the IEEE Continued Program. The 4-month training program aims at equipping tech engineering professionals with new skills in emerging technologies. Take a look.
Experts argue that the fourth industrial revolution wave is defining career decisions and choices. The training is therefore a stepping stone for tech engineering professionals in Uganda to advance their careers in order to stay relevant in the job market and create meaningful impact.
We've launched a program here in Uganda, which is one for providing continuing education to ICT professionals. This includes computer developers, software developers, data analysts, it includes electrical engineers, it includes telecommunications engineers. And we're offering this through organizations, and once an organization takes up these courses, its staff will get access to these courses for a period of 4 months, and in return they get to give us their feedback, what they liked, what they thought could be improved, and we'll use that to make the learning content that we continue to offer to ICT professionals, engineers, scientists relevant to them.
The purpose of the program is to reach out to as many ICT and engineering practitioners as possible and enable them access courses and new skills based on their underlying knowledge.
We're basically providing access to 18 courses selected from over 400 available from the IEEE catalog, and the idea is that how do we expose innovators both in practice and in the startup field to the latest thinking in ICT, right? And how do you then leverage some of that thinking for you to go off and do some amazing innovations, right? So that's the nexus that we're trying to achieve today.
We know that there's significant challenges when it comes to ICT infrastructure, being able to access content. So Motive is lending the hand in giving people in Gulu, people in Jinja, people in Barara, the access to a space where they can sit and actually access the courses and have the relevant skills given to them.
A report by the World Economic Forum on the Future of Jobs 2020 indicates that the ongoing shifts in the division of labor between humans, algorithms and artificial intelligence is likely to displace 85 million jobs worldwide in the next 5 years, while creating 97 million new roles adaptable to technology. Dennis Igoa and Juman Samba for UBC News.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using 2Gabane. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebration.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV, love it.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
The Oil and Gas Moment, brought to you by Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. The oil and gas activities in Uganda are expected to create about 160,000 new jobs. Close to 70% of these jobs will require
Yes, and now into the world of sports. Uganda's chances of winning a boxing medal at the ongoing Birmingham Commonwealth Games have brightened. This after Bombers captain Joshua Tukamuhebwa sailed into the quarterfinals in his lightweight category. Take a look.
By a split decision in the red corner. Representing Uganda.
Hall number 4 at the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham is the venue for boxing and has thus far proved good omens to Uganda's Joshua Tukamuhebwa. The Bombers captain is on the verge of collecting a medal for Uganda after edging Billy Polkinghorne in a round of 16 light welterweight contest.
This fight, it was a good fight. My opponent was good, I was also good, but the one who was in charge of the ring had to conquer and be chosen as a winner of today.
In the quarterfinal, upon which victory guarantees a bronze medal, Tukamuhebwa will fight Canadian White Sanford. But while Tukamuhebwa's journey continues, Yusuf Nkobeza has been ejected by Englishman Lewis Richardson through a split decision to win a highly entertaining middleweight contest.
The fight was good and I lost it. I promise Ugandans I do the best in upcoming competitions. It's very sad I lost my first international.
Still to come for the Bombers is Owen Kibira and the history-making first ever Ugandan female Teddy Nakimuri, who is in action next week. Elsewhere, on the third day of action, Uganda's Rugby Cranes edged Tonga to set up an England final for the 9th position. The She Cranes play later today against Trinidad and Tobago, while squash player Paul Kadoma is also in action. John Barnes Sentamo reporting.
And with that, we come to the end of this newscast, but do join us at 10 o'clock for our second edition of UBC News Tonight. We'll be having more stories then. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto. See you at 10.